Communication is an Art. I'm Pam Lippett of Pamela Lippett Communications. I am a speaker, a communication strategist, a coach, and now a podcaster. If this is the first time you're listening to one of my episodes, welcome. And if you're coming back for more, a double welcome, because hopefully you liked some of the content you heard and you're back for more. You'll see new episodes most weeks. I try my best, as well as some special episodes with guests as we dive into what makes for successful communication, both personally and in the workspace. So expect a short form from me, about 10 to 15 minutes at most, enough so you can get in your car and go. If you've got questions, feel free to reach out. And again, you can find me at Pamela Lippett on LinkedIn. That's where the best place to find me is. So now on to today's episode. Hi, welcome to this week's podcast on Communication is an Art. You heard my pre-done introduction, but this is the introduction from me every week because I like to be conversational. I like to invite you into the virtual room and hope that you are having a good time. And I will know that because you have hit that follow button. And to me, that is gold. It's like being in the Olympics. I loved watching the Olympics last month. And for me, gold is you following my podcast, following along with me on LinkedIn, and really creating that connection. So I wanted to start out by talking about last month, all my Monday motivation quotes were from African Americans. And I really picked out ones that spoke to me, especially the one from Shirley Chisholm about if there's not a seat for you in the room, bring your own chair. I think as women, we have always had to bring our own chair to the first time we're in a room. We always have to figure out the dynamics and the hierarchy in a room and how we can get our voice in and heard. This month, I'm focusing on Women's History Month, no surprise there, and leadership. And so my quote this week, if you're following me on LinkedIn, and I hope you are, the URL and my handle is in the information below. My quote this week is from Madeline Albright. I was lucky enough to see her in person speaking, and she was just so dynamic and so personable and truly felt like she spoke to everyone in the audience individually. Isn't that our goal in life when we're speaking, to think that the person on the other end of the conversation thinks we're only speaking to them? If I make you feel that, I have succeeded in today. So one of the things Madeline Albright said, among many, is, quote, "It took me quite a long time to develop a voice. And now that I have it, I'm not going to be silent," unquote. I think that is so fitting to start off the month. We have to, as women, find our voice. We have to figure out how to be seen as respectful. You know, that old saying about men are seen as assertive and women are seen as aggressive. I hate that. And I think I hate it the most because I think it's true. And it's certainly something that has happened to me in my career. Has it happened to you? I bet it has. If you're a woman listening to this, I just bet it has. It's really interesting, you know, when you look into the dynamics of men versus women leaders and how it's just so easy for a man to do an ask. I once read a book, it's one of my favorite books, and I've been looking around for it because I would reread it, so maybe I had it on a Kindle somewhere. It was by Mika Brzezinski, and it's called Knowing Your Worth. And she interviewed all these different women leaders in their positions, and some men leaders too, on how women are seen differently and treated differently. And one of the examples she gave that I will never forget is when a woman wants to ask for a raise from her boss, she waits till she thinks the time is right, till she thinks he's had a good night's sleep, till it's a happy day, not a rainy day, that they've just come off something successful. And all those things kind of mull into putting it off day after day after day. And how does a man decide to ask for a raise? It's Tuesday. The worst comes to worst, they'll say no, and we'll just move on from that. And I think that difference in the dynamic really spoke to me. And it's so true. Another article I once read said that when a woman sits down in a meeting, there's like 7 steps till she gets comfortable. She takes off her coat, she puts her purse on the back of the chair, she takes her things out, her notepad out, whatever. And it came up with like 7 different things. But when a man sits down at a table, it's a 3-part sit and comfort. And in that difference is a lot of issues about how you're perceived as just being ready to get going. Usually a woman in the bad weather, hello, I'm in Michigan, wears a coat, a scarf, and whatever, and a man runs in their blazer and just is good to go. It's all those little pieces. And what it led me to was getting to rooms earlier, so that when other people walk in, as a woman, I'm already set up and ready to go into the meeting, and I don't have to do those other things while there are a lot of people around. I don't have to fidget, I have to be comfortable. Men don't nod their heads during meetings. Women tend to nod their heads as agreement, but it's not perceived necessarily as agreement. It's perceived as fidgeting. So those are like silly little things that you think should not make a difference, but make a difference. Next time you're in a meeting, in a room, kind of play around with those things. See where you fit into that till I feel comfortable in a room. Because those are the traits that people above you are looking for leadership and who's moving forward. Are you comfortable in your skin? Are you contributing the right way? Are you moving forward the right way? And with that, I go back to, I'm not going to be silent, but I'm going to be a lot quieter. I speak about that a lot in my podcast, about learning how, and I think this is for men and women, how to be quieter, not louder, how to speak less, not more. Because when you speak less, each of those times you speak is given more deference. It's kind of like the little boy who cried wolf. Given that analogy before? I don't think so. Every time you just kind of tune it out. And then when the boy is really crying wolf because there really is a wolf, no one pays attention. So if you're always commenting in a room, people are tuning it out because it feels like, oh, that person has to comment on everything. They have to be in every part of the room. But that's not true if you comment when it's really important and really can give a message and be heard. So I actually like to try my best to only comment 3 times in a meeting, unless I'm asked a question. Then that's a different game. But I really try only to speak 3 times. I really try to figure out where I want to speak, when I want to speak, and how I want to speak, and really limit that. It's so tough for me sometimes. It's tough for you. It is so tough for me. But that's okay. I like to be a lifelong learner. I'm always learning new things. I'm always thinking about things. And so those are kind of steps that I'm always looking at. I also would recommend that after a meeting, if you don't think it went well, or if you don't think you were heard in that meeting, you don't need others to give you criticism or create, good criticism. I think that's baloney. But you need to critique yourself. We can all critique ourselves. How many times have you walked out of a meeting and thought, they never listened to me? Well, if that's the end of that statement, that's a problem to me. Maybe it's not a problem to you, it's a problem to me. I want to say, they didn't listen to me. Why didn't they listen? And what could I do differently next time for them to really take what I have to offer for the value it has and the leadership skills it shows? Sometimes if it's something that's really, really important to me, I will follow up with the chairman and say, I know there was a lot of talk and I wouldn't say I talked too much. I would never give in to that, but say there was a lot of conversation during this meeting and this was something that was really important to me. I just want to make sure it wasn't missed. If you do that, it gives you time to write out those thoughts well and not be on the fly, not be in the emotion of what other people are saying. But it says to whoever the chair is or the boss is or the leader is in that room that you don't walk out of the room and say it's over, it's nothing. You walk out of the room and you think about the meeting and you think about the conversation and you create a way to continue. Hopefully that person that you're sending this email to will follow back up and say, wow, maybe I did miss that, but let's schedule time to talk about that more. I'm going to go to the flip side. If you ever get an email like that or get the idea that something was smart in a meeting, but other people just were busy talking and it got left behind, follow up with that person. Say to them, let's schedule 10 minutes to talk about this more because I think it got lost in the hubbub of the meeting. That's a new phrase for me, the hubbub of the meeting. But, it got lost in the broader conversation. And I think you were onto something there. A few things are going to happen. Mostly what's going to happen is the person in the room is going to feel seen and going to feel heard. And while they realize they might have not landed something the way they wanted to during the meeting, what a fabulous feeling to know that you were still heard and your opinion was still valued. Because once you have that, you can continue and know that things will be okay, that you have been seen. You have been seen and you're not going to stay silent, as Madeline Albright had said. So that's my message for today. Nice, short and sweet. I'm at about 11 minutes. So probably with post-production, we'll be at about 13 minutes. And that's where I like to stay. So I hope you have a good week. I'm really trying my best to put something up every week. And I hope you are enjoying hearing it. Make sure you follow me. Communication is an art. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you download or ask for From Hello to Success. It's a free worksheet about how to do a better job making connections and following up with people. So have a good week. Thanks. Podcast. I hope you found something interesting in it. I wanted to share with you a new offering from my company, Pamela Lippert Communications. I'm actually offering a communications audit. So who is this for? It's for a company, a nonprofit, where there's new leadership, new board members, or new senior hires who may not be up to speed and are seeing different things when they're looking at different pieces of paper, because really it's the new people who are really diving in and looking at things. It could be because you have new programs or new clients or new services, and you want to give them a consistent message about your company. It may be that people are asking the same questions all the time. That means you should be answering it in your materials so they don't have to ask. And it's also if you're seeing internal frustrations among your team. Maybe they don't have the right materials they need. So if you're interested in a communications audit for your company, I am giving a bonus for anyone who mentions hearing this on the podcast. Not only will I do a communication audit of your materials, but I'll also come in person or via Zoom and meet with your team to go over all the materials as we start and as we finish to make sure everyone's on the same page. So with that, shoot me a text or an email if you're interested, and I am happy to reach out and discuss how your communications can be smoother, more concise, and lead to more business. Thank you.